guys, welcome back. This is Meg TV and you're watching part 4 of 28 things I've learned now that I'm 28. All right, here we go. So we left off on number 15. Communicating well is a daily practice, is daily work. And once I figured out that kind of realization for myself, especially because I'm in a relationship, and especially because I'm in a relationship with an entrepreneur, and I'm an entrepreneur, and we run a business together. Communication has been incredibly difficult for us in the past, but with that awareness and knowing that it takes work, and there are certain ways that have really proved to be time and time again work better for us and make our communication with each other just like so freaking crystal clear that it's inspiring, if I do say so myself. Number 16, every day, playing off of that, piggybacking off of that, every day is practice for the life that you want. So let me explain that a little bit, because people go, once I make X amount of dollars, I'll be able to do this, which means I'll be able to be happy. Once I retire, I'll be able to travel. Once we kick the trolls out of the house, I'll be able to be happy. So there's all of these things that we kind of look to in the future, or even in the past. The past can be an example of, yeah, those were the good old days. Those were the days, in high school I used to, or I used to do that sport, blah, blah, blah. Not really living in the moment. And so what I'm saying is, like, every day, if you want a certain lifestyle, for example, every day I want a loving, generous husband and marriage. And that's why every day I view my relationship as if I'm already married, as if we've already walked down the aisle and made these vows to each other, whatever. And I call him husband because I'm practicing. I'm practicing for the life that I want. I want a husband. I want to be able to call him husband. And so I just do it, even without, walking down the aisle or making that official, paper statement. So if you want a certain lifestyle or change, you should, I hate using should, but you can act like it now, okay? You can act like it right now, okay? Because every day is practice for the life that you really want, instead of living in the future or living in the past. So that's just something I found out, okay? Number 17, I want to be rich. I do. And what does rich mean? Did that, put a pit in your stomach and make you feel a little bit negative? Like, does the word rich have a negative connotation for you when you heard that? Did I sound selfish? Did I sound greedy when you heard that? I used to think the same way, and I think I still have a little twinge because that's how I was raised. Like, being rich, if you go back to video number 1 or part 1, I used to think being rich was this, they're greedy, they're bad people. That's not me. I'm not trying to be rich, I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm a good citizen, all that shit. Like, no. I'm now changing my perspectives on how I view people who are rich and how I view people who are poor. And along with being rich, instead of this monetary, thing that you have in your mind right now, is a rich mindset, a rich set of balls. Like, you have courage, a rich spirit, a rich health profile. You get out, you're active, you do things that are good for you. A rich community, a rich relationship, a rich love life. And all those things, I want all of that. And I desire that, truly. And I'm no longer thinking that that's bad of me to want that. And you know what? Yeah, you've got to be a little bit greedy in your life, because that makes you take action. It makes you motivated. How else are you going to change anything? How else are people going to innovate and change the world? They had to want, they had to desire. So yeah, I want to be rich. Number 18, I want to start learning how to invest. And this is stemmed from, again, the book that I've read and just from talking to Kevin too, because he's already been telling me that, like, that's my husband. So he's been telling me, like, investing is the way to keep your wealth. Okay, so, you know, being financially smart, having financial intelligence, as the Rich Dad Poor Dad calls it, I want that, you know. I think I've had a grand lesson in knowing that I have been very financially unintelligent, and that's okay because now I'm aware. So I'm gonna, from moving forward now, from 28 and onward, I'm gonna try to expand my brain, not to shun the ideas of taxes and of money and of finances like I usually did. I'm gonna really try to learn and investing my wealth that I'm going to be making later on in life, so that I start building up my assets instead of buying liabilities. Check out, this book is so good. You need to just read it, okay? Rich Dad Poor Dad, go read it. Number 19, I've learned that I'm a bit cowardly. I think a lot of people have a bit of a chicken in them. I'm a bit cowardly, and I think that just that I know that I am a bit cowardly, it makes me like switch gears. So the first thing they always say, like when you want to change or when you want to rehab or whatever, you've got to be aware of your problem. You've got to know that you have an issue or a problem. I know I have an issue with being cowardly, and that plays to my anxiety, that plays to I didn't have friends and all this stuff. So that also plays to, like, you know, not having the opportunities that I want or the home that I want. So I know that I'm a bit cowardly, and just knowing that, I'm okay with that, but then I need to ask myself, how do I not be? How do I find my courage right now? Right, so yes. Number 20, I'm arrogant. And I need to calm the fuck down, okay? I need to take some humble cookies and just gobble that up and drink it down with a nice glass of wine. It's pretty good, some Malbec. You know, yeah, I've been quite arrogant when I was growing up. I'm kind of always a little bit ashamed about that, but I think that's because I had this wall, and that was a part of me being introverted. I showed off a bunch of bravado and arrogance, and I cut myself off to a lot of people, and I think that made people almost scared of me, and I was like, what? I didn't know I was putting on this arrogant energy. So now I'm trying really hard not to do that, because it's a habit of mine, and I don't mean to do it, obviously, but yeah, I need to calm the fuck down. So I don't think I'm as arrogant as I am, like I used to be, but I always kind of think back to those times, like, oh, she's no. Number 22, I can activate my brain and be like hella creative and resourceful if I ask myself how, instead of saying I don't know, or I don't know how to do that, or I don't have any experience, or I don't know anybody, or whatever the fuck, you know, your excuses are. If I ask myself how, like, well, how can I get Kevin to understand what I'm doing? How can I cook something that's healthy but it's not boring? How can I create video that allows me to be me and not feel bad about it? How can I create a site that serves me? It scratches my own itch and the itches of my audience. How can I serve the people that I love the most when they're stubborn as fuck? Like, you know, like asking how. And that activates your brain in a different way. Now your brain goes, yes, how can we do that? And it starts working instead of shutting down, like, that's the way they're always gonna be.